Visionary leaders build a life and business legacy on purpose through mindset, branding, marketing, sales, systems, and team so they can make an amazing impact and income and positively affect their communities worldwide. Ensure that you are sharing this show, you're subscribing, and you also are leaving us a review so we can create more amazing content around those areas to help you level up to the next level and also bring amazing guest experts that can share their knowledge and expertise with you so that you can create amazing legacy. All right, visionary leaders, welcome back to another show. I hope you're doing well, and I'm so excited to be back with you today with another beautiful guest on our show that is going to share his experience, his journey, and his expertise around the topic of breakthroughs. Breakthroughs are very, very important in our life and business. As conscious leaders, we're always looking to learn and grow and evolve because we understand the more we do that personally, the more, of course, our businesses also grow. So today we're going to talk about the complete blueprint to breakthroughs in any areas of our lives. And this is so pertaining also with what we do here at our show because we believe in the holistic approach to life, right? We're not only a human being that focuses in one area. We want to be able to be fulfilled in all the rest of the areas of our lives, right? So I'm so excited to have with me today from UK, by the way. So we are virtually connected today from New York to UK, and I have the award-winning transformational life and business strategist, Tony Selimi. He's an educator specializing in human behavior and maximizing human potential. So Tony is a world-known leader. He works with a lot of people all over the world. So I am so blessed to be able to have him here on our show today. Tony, thank you so much for finding time to be on the Life School Masterclass show today with me.
Thank you so much for what you do and what we're going to do together to inspire your audience.
It is such a pleasure. And let's start where usually I start all my conversations, which is the backstory. What led you to the work you're doing today? I know that that's usually connected to our purpose, all the happenings of our lives, or I guess the most impactful moments, because of course we could take such a long time. Our life is long. But what are some of the most impactful moments in your personal and professional journey, Tony, that really inspired you to do the work that you're doing today?
There are many moments that inspire me to be on a path I'm today, but I can put them in order very briefly. One is being ill at a very young age. Two, being bullied at school for being of an Albanian origin. Three, living in a society where women and men did not really have the equal rights, especially because of our creed as Albanians, in a society predominantly led by Macedonians and Serbians. And then the civil war fell upon us. And on top of that, my life was saved. I ended up homeless on the street of London with no family, with no education, with no prospects, with no one to turn for help to. And also being in the civil war, where, you know, I saw some of the atrocities at the beginning of the former Yugoslav war. And the questions, this internal quest about answering the life mysteries and why things happen to us and for us, and why, you know, on one hand, many people think we are equal in the eyes of God, but then you are not. And all of those different injustices that I experienced, and also what challenged me the most about understanding life, I focused my entire energy to learn various aspects about science, about spirituality, about religion, about business, about leadership, about migration, about mathematics, physics, quantum physics, healing. And then as I went on this journey, all of the things helped me to become the transformational coach and leader to help others grow. So together we can nudge the planet and solve most meaningful problems, which as we grow with our evolution, gonna keep growing.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you shared that we both share that origin of being Albanians. I think that's another mutual connection that we have together. But yeah, I mean, it just repeats over and over that through our personal journey, the challenges that we face, the things that we don't like, the things we want to change, the gaps, all those things that we maybe learn that could be hard at the beginning, but then we overcome, let's say, we kind of now want to take that and we don't want to see other people suffer. So that becomes our vocation. That becomes the message. That becomes the purpose behind the work we do. And it inspires us daily to be able to solve those big problems in the world, depending on our individual journey. And that's why I always start with that, because there is a reason, even in my personal journey, there's a reason why we feel inspired or called, so to speak, to do the work that we do. So I always love hearing my guests' personal journey and connecting that obviously to the work that they actually do as well. So Tony, breakthroughs, what, based on the work that you've done worldwide, globally, what are some of the things that stop people from having the results or the breakthroughs that they really want in all the areas of their lives? Some common patterns that you have seen.
Some of the common patterns, the first one we start is the mindset. Living in various societies and in cultures, we unconsciously adopt injected values and perceived limits that they then become like walls within our subconscious mind. And it is known now, scientifically proven, it is what's happening in our subconscious mind that generates the reality we live in. So no matter what problems, what challenge you experience in the now, the solution is in being able to transform your unconscious mind. So those unconscious patterns, behaviors, injected values, perceived limits can become conscious. And when they become conscious, we can transform the mindset and create a growth mindset. Now, the second pattern is what kills everybody's dreams is their emotional states, meaning those trapped emotions within the body that last for centuries, frankly. And some of them, they are almost inherited from birth. And then as we go through the experiences, we tend to put them under the carpet without realizing those are trapped emotions. And sooner or later, they start creating those patterns and influence our decisions, our choices, and the kind of lifestyle, the kind of business, the kind of career, relationship that we have. And the third one, it's the voices in our head, those negative voices of not being good enough, feeling the judgment of others, the expectations, and all those failures that become the predominant voice in your head without even understanding how those impact our life and what we do every single day. So therefore, it's the emotions with those negative voices, then they create those doubts and those limits that we then end up repeating them over and over until one day we self-reflect and we seek help and professional help that can help us transform. Then the other part is most people that I meet, they don't really have clarity on who they are, what they want to do, why they're doing what they do, when they want to do it, what are the systems and the processes, the strategies and plan they need to achieve their greatest potential or go on this path to going from living disempowered, average with lots of problems to going to extraordinary excellence and a vision and mission that goes beyond oneself. And therefore, considering all of that, we tend to then focus in one area in our life to empower ourselves. But what I've learned over the many years is the fact that when we focus that, then somebody else who's more powerful in the other area will overpower you. For instance, most people dedicate their lives to grow professionally, to build their wealth, to build their businesses, but suffer in their relationship with their families, with their children, with their mental health, with their confidence, with the doubts and with not being able to sleep, having anxiety, having addictions, burnout, stress. So therefore it impacts every area of their life. Therefore, they cannot really maximize their human potential.
Mm. Yes, I love that. That at the core of that is your human potential, because I also talk about that here at the Life School. As humans, the individual is the tree, right? And the deeper your roots are, the more you do your inner work, the more, then you start aligning yourself, and all the things around you, the leaves of the tree, are obviously all the areas that we want to have in alignment in our individual authentic journey. So Tony, that would be my next question for you based on your expertise. how do we align? Because I think that's the new word. I mean, years ago we talked about balance. How do we balance all these areas of our lives? Then we're talking about harmony. Okay, maybe there's a way to harmonize these areas. Then we're talking about alignment, right? So how do we now figure out how to somehow marry and blend them, or focus on certain areas at a certain time? Like, what are your thoughts on sort of being in the flow energetically and spiritually, but also being focused, intentional, uh, with growing our businesses, but also ensuring that our personal lives are also up to the standard, or that we're getting fulfillment out of?
Well, you mentioned some key elements in there. Mostly it's about that alignment between the physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual body. And most people have disalignment in those things. But to get that, first and foremost, what people would benefit from understanding, first and foremost, their beliefs and their values. Why? Because it is our hierarchy of values that determines what we become. And most people never ever spend the time required to work in the code of the psychology. And the code of the psychology is the hierarchy of your values, and the kind of beliefs and the kind of language that we use, and the kind of limitations that we keep telling ourselves. So therefore, we cannot really increase our human potential if first and foremost, we don't know what is authentic about us. This is one of the reasons through all of my books, especially in the Unfakeable Code book, I spent a lot of time and energy to share with the audience and with the readers the importance of knowing the different personas that we adopt in life, without realizing that we are not the persona. We are so much more than individual transient personas that go through life. For instance, when we are at school, we might call ourselves a student, we might call ourselves a PhD, we might call ourselves, a mathematician. And then the work comes over, then we put a title about our job that we do. Then some of us get married and then we become husband and wives. And then some people will have children, they become fathers. And then they change profession, they become healers, they become coaches, they become this, they become that. But the reality is we are so much more than that. And when you allow yourself to be so much more than that, the first thing I always say to people, look at the programming of who you are in the now. And then also, as you clarify those steps about your values and your own beliefs, and have clarity, really, is the beliefs that I have support me or disempower me? Do they bring me down or do they bring me up? And this is the self-reflection we can do with our body, because the intelligence we all have always tells us, if we ask the right questions, whether we are on the right path. Unfortunately, for most people that I see, they don't have the knowledge or the skills or the expertise to be able to tap into their own psychology. So therefore, I always believe we all need mirrors. While we all have all this incredible intelligence inside of us, if we look in nature, the earth had all the elements, but it took a human being to bring them out and create everything we see. Similarly, this is why I believe in the powerful work that coaches, mentors, teachers, educators, and everybody out there who shares their knowledge and skills can help you really tap into that inner diamond, into what nutrients those roots from the tree bring up into the leaves, into the trunk, into the fruits of your life. So therefore, the step number one is identifying exactly what your authentic values are. And when you identify that, and when we look at our internal reality and external reality, those two realities are perfectly like wherever you are in any moment in life, they are perfect mirror to tell you what needs to change in your life. Whether it's in your mental set, depending on the kind of communication you have with people, the dialogues, opportunities, career, profession, relationship, arguments, health issues. Most of the things I see people, they don't listen to what the reality is reflecting back at them. They just get on with it and thinking things will be okay, without realizing that later on in life, you will have impact in one of those areas in your life. So the second part is truly understanding what is the external reality reflecting back at you. And then what is the internal reality reflecting back at you, and then create a bridge to bridge those two realities. So for instance, if internally you have a lot of mental problems, emotional problems, you have anxiety, depression, if you are taking drugs every single day, if you have chronic illnesses, if you have pains in your body, if you have fat in your body, if you whatever you might experience in your physical and mental and emotional body, write down and listen to what those alarms that your body is giving you as a feedback to you for you to change, to adapt, to grow and transform. Similarly, you look in your external life. In external life, start with your personal life, meaning whether you are single, whether you're in a relationship, whether the relationship is working, whether it's a lot of arguments, toxicity, whether your children are doing the best they can, what is it you can do as a family to support that, and then look in the wider society, in the wider community, in your places where you work. Are you feeling optimized with your energy, with your mindset, with your skills to do the work that you're doing? And how much are you contributing in that? And then if you're entrepreneur, solopreneur, business owner, leader, your challenges are even bigger. So are you truly in your momentum, in your space that you perform the best you can perform? And thirdly, it's actually creating a crystal vision of what you want for your life, meaning a vision that goes beyond self. This is something I actually promote quite a lot in the Unbreakable Code, in a Path to Excellence book. What is the vision beyond oneself? After you've gone through Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you've achieved certain things, what is the kind of philanthropy legacy you want to leave in this world once you're gone?
Mm. Well, so beautifully explained for sure, Tony, because when you do your day-to-day work, I think also your intuition kind of is able to see a lot of dots, a lot of patterns in people that all repeat from all walks of life, from all journeys of life. So I love the mirror comparison that you said, because I think that is very, very important. And that is why we need other people to help us to look at these things. It's not as easy to do the stuff on our own, because we become our own chokehold in our businesses or even in our personal lives. So I think it was really, really powerful as well. So let's go into leadership, Tony. So obviously, we have a lot of business leaders, and you being a word leader, and you probably work with a lot of word leaders that lead big companies, small companies, big companies, right? Everything has got to grow. We all start somewhere. What are some of the things that you have seen that holds most leaders back in this personal aspect, but also in the growth of their company, depending on where their vision is, with the impact they want to make and the direction of where they're trying to go?
Well, at the personal level, when a leader leads a big company, for instance, or medium company, the expectation of your time, your energy, and the way you make decisions and choices is tremendous, because one decision can affect millions of people, if not billions of people. And we saw that through the pandemic, how some leaders made really bad choices and decisions that many people lost their lives, for instance. Many people lost their livelihoods. Many people experienced kind of losses that might take, a decade to recover. For some people, will never recover. Similarly, in a business, as a leader, the pressure of you performing or underperforming is huge. Not just that, but also the expectation you as a leader you have in the eyes of your employees. And therefore, the biggest thing about the leaders is the noise and the expectation, the stress, the burnout. And then most of them, to relieve some of that, they go into addictions, for instance, whether it's alcohol addiction or drug addiction or shopping addiction. I have some clients who every time they get the stress goes high up, they go and buy a new car. And then to realize that wasn't the solution, and therefore has a tremendous effect of their choices and the decisions. And then the biggest, most important on personal level, it's when it starts impacting your physical and emotional health, but also a lot of them end up having a lot of conflicts at home. Now, when you have a conflicts at home, you bring those conflicts at work. Therefore, you become a very conflicting leader with your teams, with yourself, and in the company you work. Because somebody might approach you and you might just fire up something because you are stressed at home. So the work of a leader at home and at work nowadays are so intertwined. So anything that happens at work will actually manifest at work and vice versa. So therefore, they have the ability to learn more and more soft people skills, and also self-management and self-regulation, self-awareness, and also how to mindfully treat themselves and others when the pressure is high, when the desperation, the conflict, the solution to a problem, big problem. This is where leaders really need to show up the best authentic self without the fear of what really might impact them when it comes to a huger vision of a delivery of a big project. Because you have to maintain all of those aspects at work, but also at home. And that takes a lot of energy, mental, emotional, physical energy, but also it takes a lot for you to transform yourself in order to adapt in ever-changing market uncertainty, economic uncertainty, business uncertainty, family uncertainty. We have divorce rates in the rise. We have children with ADHD, children with mental health problems. So all of those things affect the leaders.
Mm. And I really hope more leaders become conscious about that, because that would be my next question. Are the leaders ready to open up and do their inner work, right? Because a lot of times the more you have at stake, the more responsibility, the more people that you directly influence, maybe the ego comes into play and it becomes more of a, let me just figure out, what I can do. So you just, hide more than want to open up and be vulnerable and be humble and be coachable and all these things that of course will help you to get to the next level. What's your perspective with that based on your work?
I mean, fortunately, there are more and more people who step into the role of self-growth and self-mastery. More leaders doing that. Yes, for sure, there's a massive taboo out there, especially when it comes to men leaders, because women have always had the ways of having higher emotional intelligence, so therefore they'll have the support mechanism around them to discuss things at much more personal and intimate level. An example, I was working with a client who literally had testicular cancer, and he would never open up to that. But years down the line, he opened up, and then the company took measures around encouraging all the males within the company to go and have a test. Just something as simple as that can be a powerful force for change when leaders open up and they are emotionally stable with themselves to be able to share intimate parts of their struggle. And also you have this massive expectation that leader has to be, like a iron, like a diamond, unbreakable.
Mm.
Well, nobody is unbreakable. We all have moments where we can break like an egg, and therefore we fall into pieces, and then we have to rebuild ourselves from scratch. Now, reputation damage, for instance, people fearing they're going to lose their job, people feeling they're going to use their authority, their credibility by being soft. And also what I notice a trend amongst especially my clients, some companies offer coaching within the company, but they don't open up to the level they open up when they're privately working with me. And this is why some leaders choose to have external coaches as their coaches, because while the career coaches and all this executive coaching and people coaching within the company, it's great and doing an amazing job. But the higher you go up, the higher those expectations of you, and therefore they feel more comfortable and to have an external coach with different expertise that they can give them a different view of where they are within the company and what they can do with that.
Mm. Absolutely, absolutely. And Tony, my last question, because we can continue for hours with a lot of these beautiful topics. I really thank you for all the amazing wisdom that you're sharing with us today. What about the beautiful harmony? Women are rising, more women leaders are rising, right? Male leaders are there. We can all learn from one another because genetically we are built differently, right? So of course there is strengths in women leaders and then strengths in male leaders. So what are those? How do we balance now this collaborative approach to women leaders and male leaders as we come with our own set of genetic predispositions that we bring to the table, and we bring positives and we also bring negatives because we're humans, right? So we have all those different areas inside of us. So where do you see this beautiful blend in our society going, and how do we do more collaborative work with one another so that we can all rise? And of course, all this impact will go into society, because I know that that's usually how it works. You impact one person, and obviously they can get to impact their family first and then other people around them. Where do you see the direction of where we are heading with this?
First and foremost, we are doing it right now. So, it's for me, I'm really blessed to be able to work with more and more women who actually want to grow into a leadership position and bring that harmony between masculine and feminine energy. And also, I'm somebody who, first and foremost, I don't believe in gender as a gender like a fixed thing that one is better than the other, because even life does not teach us that. Life is a beautiful harmony of the polar opposites. Meaning, you have masculine things in nature, you have feminine things in nature, and they don't compete with each other. They blend beautifully with each other. So therefore, I believe that this trend of masculine and feminine dynamics in society will keep growing. Therefore, with growth of education, with growth of training and conscious leadership and all the wonderful things that people are doing out there, more and more people will awaken to the unity of life. And unity of life, the person who awakens themselves to unity of life no longer sees you as a feminine energy or me as a masculine energy, because they know that both those energy exist in every human being and in nature. So therefore, it doesn't become anymore about balancing masculine and feminine. It becomes more about unity of life and how we come together to serve life.
Unity of life. I love that. That is very insightful and definitely a great thought in leadership for sure. Well, Tony, thank you so much again. We are at the end of our show, and I would love to ask you for a final message. I don't know if you can wrap up a lot of things that we said into a final message from your school of life that you would like to leave our audience with today. And also, where is it that people can find more regarding all the amazing work that you do in the world?
My final message is you are born to be extraordinary. You are born to do a service to humanity. You are born with a unique gift. You are born with an intelligence. When you tap into it, you can transform your life, but also the life of others, and also make a positive contribution in the world. So therefore, invest in the biggest asset that will pay dividends for the rest of your life, which is you. The more you invest in you, the more you educate yourself, the more you train yourself, the more you help somebody who can actually clarify your strategy, your plan of life, and to be able to help you step into that vision beyond yourself, the more you'll become energized and more youthful you become, and the more inspired you'll become for yourself, for everybody else. And one of the fifth principle I share in the Unfakeable Code, it's this: let your heart be the only military commander that wins every battle in life. Just let that sink for a second, embody that into your life, into your business, into your entrepreneurship, into your work, into who you are. And you'll see your life transforming in front of you, and life will reward you. So people can learn more about me. They can Google me. They'll find a lot of information. They can go to my website, tonyselimi.com, and they can start reading my books, A Path to Wisdom, #Loneliness, The Unfakeable Code, A Path to Excellence. And I have 2 new books coming out next year, maybe this year, but next year for sure. And also I have a documentary on Amazon, Living My Illusion, and I'm an executive producer of another documentary, The Truth About Living. And also I'm launching a program for top-end entrepreneurs, executives, leaders, which is basically transformational through coaching and filming, where I coach people for a year in beautiful locations, and I turn that into a film called Into Your Divinity.
Oh my, well, there you go. Check out Tony's website. He's also a best-selling author, and he's got so many amazing projects inspiring and impacting so many people. Well, Tony, I really appreciate your time. It was a great conversation, a lot of aha moments, a lot of listen back and grasp information that is very, very important. And I wish the same for our audience, to just take some nuggets or to connect some new dots from our conversation and take inspired action from what Tony shared with us today. And you know where to find our show. I would encourage you to subscribe, share it, and so that we can bring more word leaders just like Tony on our show. Thank you so much, everyone, and I'll see you with another show. Bye for now. I want to share with you the 4 books that would change your life personally and professionally. So, the first book is Connecting the Dots Backwards, one of the books I've written that will help you connect the dots between your past, your present, and your future life vision. You will find topics in there around marketing, sales, spirituality, relationships, all the areas that you need to be fulfilled as a human being. The second book that I've written, which is a journal, accompanies the Connecting with the Dots book. And this journal will help you apply the information that you learn in the book into a journal. It has self-guided questions that you can go through and into to get the clarity that you need to discover your values, your vision, and your mission. This is a journal attaching the book as well. And then Purpose Driven Entrepreneurship is my latest book where I have included my legacy framework in building legacy businesses, everything from mindset, branding, marketing, sales, systems, and team. And I have connected all the dots between all those areas so that you have the fundamentals that you need to build a truly legacy empire. And then my latest creation is the Focus on Purpose Planner for increased productivity and efficiency, where I have included a framework around your productivity where you can plan ahead, work on purpose, and leave amazing impact on the planet with your work. You can find any of my books on the website below, elonaloparicoaching.com books. And definitely grab your copy. Let me know, leave me a review on Amazon, and let me know how this book has impacted you and changed your life.